Hi guys, so I didn't want to leave you completely alone for today's writing with SRSD, and I really want you guys to understand it, so I'm just going to do a quick little video showing you how to do today's writing on your own at home. I'm putting my writing brain on, so I have my SRSD writing brain on, and I've got a prompt here. Now this is going to be the teacher prompt. You guys are going to do your prompt on your own, so it's going to be different than mine, so don't do mine, do yours. So I have this prompt here, and it says, describe the ways that Caroline and her family changed their yard. So I'm going to go into that, but the first thing I want to do when I'm getting ready for writing is I want to do my SRP, my self-regulation plan. And I want to, I'm just going to put it up here in the corner, I'm going to write SRP. And I need three things when I'm doing my SRP. I need to know the tools that I'm going to use when I'm writing. I need to know the behavior goals that I'm going to do when I'm writing. What's my body going to be doing? What's my mind going to be doing? And then I need to know what my writing goal is. What do I want to accomplish with this, okay? So the first thing I want to do is my tools. And whenever I'm writing in SRSD, I have my power and tide. These are my tools. This is my toolbox. So just the way a carpenter uses a hammer, just the same way a doctor uses a stethoscope, just the same way a baseball player uses a ball and a bat. These are tools for you as a writer, okay? So today we're focusing on the POW part of our writing. And what we really want to do is we want to focus on the P, and the P is broken down into two parts. The pull apart the prompt and the pick my idea. So that's what we're focusing on today. So for my tool today, I'm focusing on the POW part of the writing. So I'm going to put my tools today is my P, POW, okay? If I want to put POW inside, I can, but this is really, really where I'm focusing on today. My behavior goal. How am I going to keep my body when I'm writing? Well, I want to keep my body quiet body while I'm writing. And I want to make sure that I'm staying focused on what I'm doing. So I'm going to have a quiet body, and I'm going to keep my eyes focused on writing. And then I have to have a writing goal. What is it that I want to accomplish today with my writing? So remember we were talking about arms and cups and how we can use arms and cups to become a better writer. So cup stands for using capitals, U is for usage, P was for punctuation, and S was for spelling. So let's start with the basics. Today I want to make sure that every single sentence I write starts with a capital. Okay, so my writing goal today is to use cups and to make sure all my sentences have a capital in the beginning. Okay, so this is my SRP. Okay, this is what I'm going to come back to when I need to be focused, and I'm also going to tell myself I can do it. I can, period. Exclamation instead. I can. So I'm looking at my prompt, and it says, describe the ways Caroline and her family have changed their yard. So the first part of my P is the P1. It's the part where I pull apart the prompt. So I'm going to write P1, and then I'm going to write do what? Because this is going to help me figure out what I have to do, because there's so many words here that it can get really confusing trying to figure out what the prompt is asking me to do. So I just make a T and I write do on one side and I write what on the other side. So this is also the part where we can say I need to do what and make it a little bit more fun. So I'm looking for specifically a do word in this prompt. So I'm going to read it again. Describe the ways Caroline and her family changed their yard. So I need to see, is there a word in here that I can do? What can I do? Just like I can run, walk, jump, is there a word that I can do here? Caroline? No. Can I family? No. Can I describe? Absolutely. I can absolutely describe things. So what I do, or what I like to do, is I like to put a box around that word so I know that that's the word. And then I put it underneath my do, because I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to describe. But I'm going to describe what exactly? Well, I'm going to describe the ways Caroline and her family changed their yard. So I can put it in a little bit of caveman talk here. I don't have to write the full thing out, right? So I'm going to describe ways. I'll put a big C for Caroline and family changed yard. So now I know what I have to do. Now I have my SRP, I'm ready to go, and now I know what I have to do. So I'm going to describe the ways Caroline and her family changed their yard. So now it's time for me to P2, pick my ideas. And in order for me to pick my ideas, I'm going to put P2 down here. I have to go back to the text to be able to find out what I'm going to write. What are my ideas? Where am I even going to get them? I'm not going to pull them out of the air. I'm going to take them from something that I know. So really simply down here in the middle, I'm going to make a circle, 4 lines on the outside, and then 4 circles so that I can come up with about 4 ideas. So if you don't have a printer at home, you can absolutely draw everything that I just did, because I just did it in front of you, so you can see that I just drew it on a piece of paper. It's nothing fancy. So I'm going to go back into, oh, I'm sorry. So right here, I want to put what I'm going to do in the middle, or what my ideas are going to be about. So they're all going to be about the ways that Caroline's yard changed, right? Ways Caroline's yard changed. That means all my ideas here, my idea 1, my idea 2, my idea 3, and my idea 4 are all going to be about the way Caroline's yard changed. So I'm going back into the text, and I'm remembering that at the beginning of the story, it was just this very plain yard, and that all the houses on Caroline Street all looked very much the same. Caroline's yard was a plain, just grassy yard. I remember that Caroline's dad was going to keep it that way by mowing until she saw this little blossom, and she decided she wanted to build a preserve around it in order to save it. So she did that, and then remember we talked about how this is her getting stick and strings for her preserve, and then she saw another flower, and her preserve got bigger, and then she saw another flower, and her preserve got bigger. So one of the ways that Caroline changed her yard was that she created a preserve, didn't she, to keep the flowers in. So I can say that as one idea. She created a preserve to keep flowers safe. That was one way the yard changed. So I'm going to keep on going through the text. Oh, this was another page that I remember, if you guys remember it also. Caroline had told her mom that she thought that her garden needed a shady spot. So her mom, this is the part where her family comes in, her family got a tree for the yard. So one thing that they did was they planted a big tree. My second idea. Planted a big tree. Okay? I'm going to keep going. The next day, as Caroline admired the maple tree, a wren landed on top of her shovel. Oh, you're looking for a home too? That's right, I remember this part of the story. That she went inside with Dad, they started building, and they built a birdhouse. And then, in no time, there were birds and insects everywhere around the tree, zipping among the flowers. So they made a birdhouse, and they made it a home for birds and insects. So they built a birdhouse that was home to birds and insects. And I want one more idea before I'm done. Oh, it says the next day, she and her dad began building a pond. They dug a large shallow hole and lined it with heavy plastic sheet. Caroline added plants that liked living in water. She lugged large rocks to the edge, making ledges and little caverns for creatures to live in. So one way that her family, this is now her and dad, before it was her and mom, one way that her family changed the yard was that they built a pond with rocks and plants. So, or they dug a pond. Let's say they dug a pond and put rocks and plants. Okay, so it looks like I'm done, but I just want to check over my work. I have my prompt describe the ways Caroline and her family changed their yard. I have my SRP, all the things that I was going to do. I used P as my tool. I have my quiet body and eyes focus on writing. My writing goal, when I put this all together, is that all my sentences are going to have a capital. I have in the middle what I'm really focusing on, which is the ways that Caroline's yard changed, and I came up with the 1, 2, 3, 4 ideas. They created a preserve to keep flowers safe. They built a birdhouse to be home to insects and birds. They planted a big tree, and they dug a pond, and they put rocks and plants. So if I had my POW tied all written out for me, this is where I could check off my P part. So when you go to do your work today, remember that you're doing it with your own prompt, which I believe says your prompt is to explain how Caroline's changes made the yard a better place. So that's your prompt. This was my prompt, the teacher prompt, just as a guide to show you how to do it, and now you're gonna go do it on your own with your prompt. And remember, if you have a printer and you can print out that paper, great. If you don't, I did this all here without printing anything out. I just wrote it by myself. And you can do the same thing too, okay? So I really hope this helped you, and good luck with your writing. Please do this in a notebook that you can bring back to school so that we can take a look at it together and kind of tweak any little things, any little changes that we want to make, okay? All right, guys, bye.